Okay, I think we're good.
Sweet. I'm trying to think, how did we want to do? I guess I could just launch the video myself here to see what you're working on. Do you want to share your screen, or that probably
Well,
just sends out more bandwidth, though, right?
no, just check it out on.
Yeah,
We're live
I'll
right
just.
now, so just check it
Yep,
out on Twitch
yep,
when it pops up.
yep. I'm loading up. Oh, there we go.
Should probably say hello.
Yeah, mic check, mic check. 1, 2. All right, so
Is it
let's.
working? If
Yep.
anyone's
I'm looking right at it. I don't see any of my. I don't see my picture anywhere. Um, I see you sliding something down and around in your lower right-hand corner. That looks like the audio controller. Do you want to pop that over to your second monitor?
I think it's okay now. But you're behind.
Yeah, make sure. Yeah, let's make sure that my username is nice and visible for the whole internet to see. Can we do something where that's not? Oh, hang on. Let me turn on my camera because they're dying to see that. Where is that call? Can I not do video? Oh, it's probably not a video call. Yeah, let's. Can you just put that to a second window or your other monitor?
It should be good by the time it catches up.
Oh, okay,
So
it's catching up.
I don't have Twitch open right now. So
You're
I'm
you're good.
relying
I'm
on
looking right at it.
relying on
Everything's
you
fine.
to
Yep.
moderate.
Big naked underwear guy, and Dave and I'll talk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Big naked underwear guy.
and I got to figure out. Can you make yours as a video call? Like, how do I start my video here?
No, you just follow Twitch, and that's what you got. Watch.
No. But no. I mean, my video to be able to see me. My video signal for Skype. I mean.
Oh well, I have no idea. I don't have a webcam. I'm not a big webcammer.
Well, I was just going to do like we did last night, where we did where I was actually live video.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know how. Wonder why I cannot start that video call. Oh, maybe I can't do video because of how it is. That's all good.
Well,
I'm not going to stress out about it.
yeah. So if there's any questions that pop up in the chat, just let me know. Like I said, I don't have Twitch. I don't have Twitch open on my, because I've kind of just
Mhm.
got the broadcast going and the actual.
Yeah, that's what I found that actually was
So
helping my
if you notice
bandwidth.
somebody asking something or anything, just shoot it out. Just read it out to me.
Yep. There's a nice little lag from chat to the actual video signal, so that kind of gives us a little bit of a slowdown. But um, if you're feeling froggy, you may want to um, add a couple of text lines in the video broadcast feed about who's actually talking in here. But that's if you're feeling froggy.
Text lines.
When you go under the audio, the broadcast software, if you go add video source, remember how you could add the ability to add a window and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to add a line of text.
Okay.
Just food for thought. Just put like online or something. Put Dave, Eric Web Nerd, Cola, whatever you want to go by, and then we're gonna get Keto in here in a second.
Okay.
Right, there we go.
Well, I added that text. I don't know where it's showing up on.
Usually it will show up in the upper left-hand corner as a default, and then you edit scene, and you can drag that copy around and do the order and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I've got the drag window for it, but there's nothing there.
All right, maybe nothing to worry about at this point. Yeah, why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell the group here what is it that you're actually working on here?
Okay, so what we have here is the basic, sort of like the default human, more or less. So every time we create a new character or a new body type, what have you, we're going to create a layer for the body and then a layer for the head. And I only have a body layer on right now. I'm going to do the body first and then the head later. So if I turn this off, this is what the this is the sculpt of the Tyrador grasshopper model right now.
Yeah, we've already had a somebody said, "Hey, is this Tyrador unmasked?"
It's actually grasshopper unmasked. So yeah, that's what grasshopper looks like without the mask or anything, much of anything really. And
yeah, let's put some pants on this guy already.
yeah. Well, I stripped out this scene to keep it really
Yeah.
light. So there's just teeth, so that way I know that not to punch the cheeks in too far if I'm sculpting a face, so that the teeth still make sense, and the eyes, so that the eyelids never disconnect. They're always, really snug around the actual eye itself there.
I still think this looks exactly like Kazarian. It's killing me that it looks just maybe a little bit wider face, but I mean that looks exactly like Kazarian.
I don't know. Maybe if you put hair on him. I don't
No,
really
because
see
he
it.
shaves his head now. He
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it.
We'll see if the chat agrees or disagrees.
Yeah. I wasn't when I made this guy. I wasn't really. Kazarian wasn't the guy I was looking at, basically.
Seriously, that's all it takes to just like paint some hair in, huh? So are you actually working on the texture itself at this point, or are you modeling the model itself, or is it both?
No. So I have the model is I hear Dave.
There's Dave.
No, I'm just doing the model.
See, Chad agrees with me. Chad is saying that he has a Kaz-like face and it's a mix of Kaz and AJ Styles. He looks like a mix between Kaz and Batista.
Who does? Dave here. What are we talking about?
Hey, you're finally back. If you refresh your stream there, Dave, on the browser window, you'll be able to see what Alex is actually working on right now.
Sir, yes, sir.
And we might be able to pop Dave's picture up here too. So I'm already sick of looking at me on the internet.
Hey, look at that handsome devil.
Yeah, I'm starting the body here. The bulk of the body.
Well, it's making me watch a car insurance ad first here, Alex, and then I can see what you're doing. Do. All right. And nobody in the chat room?
Oh, we got plenty of people in the chat room.
Oh, they're not showing up for me again. What the hell? Did I log out? I must have logged out here.
Sometimes it takes a little while for the chat to load. I was having...
I said boo. All right. Well, yeah. I'm there. I just don't see a list of... yeah. The last message I see is Inca Rabbit talking about ZBrush.
Yep.
Yep.
You're good. You're caught up.
All right, cool.
See, I think this stuff is fascinating to watch. I think this is just the shit.
I know I'm a nerd, so I shouldn't even say maybe I'm a nerd, but I could sit here and watch someone do 3D forever. To me, it's enthralling, man.
Well, and I said that this just kind of gets to the point that we're working on this stuff. I mean, because Alex has got a good majority of the work to do in terms of like he handles right now all of our animation and all of our modeling and stuff. So it's a lot on one plate.
Yeah.
But it's fun watching him work.
Seems
It
like a
is.
lot, but it gets truncated into small, doable tasks. Whereas, I mean, the coding side is not like that. It seems like.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
the-
Riddlin, I'll reply to you right now. The next thing that we're working on for the gameplay is we're trying to repair grappling and add more moves. That's the first step that we're kind of taking for this next update that's coming out. We've got it kind of working. The animations are all coming in for the most part, but we had to change how grappling worked behind the scenes. And it looks like our programmer is going to be around tonight, so we might be able to bring him in and kind of have him explain exactly what's happening with that kind of stuff. But that's
Well,
the first step
yeah.
is to get more moves in there so that it's a little bit deeper and a lot more fun. I know somebody referred to it as a brainbuster game. It is a brainbuster engine. So
Brainbuster City. Yep.
yep.
Yeah,
So,
the
yeah.
problem we're having right now is like the logic of the grapple is, it makes sense. It makes sense in a one-on-one, if we were to iron out the bugs of it as they are now. But like because it's not a collision thing like the striking is, we're gonna run into a problem when if we were to have say more than two people in the ring and you want to be able to grapple somebody who you're not necessarily targeted at,
Yeah.
which can happen in just about any fighting game even. That
Well,
it
yeah,
offers.
I mean, and if people, everyone who's played the current game as is, I mean, you have to be pretty forgiving. You'll notice that the grapple initiate, yeah, it works, but it's still a little bit janky. You know what I mean? The grapple attempts aren't always working, and sometimes you will grapple thin air, and your opponent will sell it, and there's just completely unforgivable crap going on with the grapple initiate that as unsexy as it is to work on the code for this kind of stuff, it has to happen or else we'll just keep throwing moves on top of a broken grapple system over and over, and we don't want to build this high-rise building on such a shaky foundation, right?
Yeah,
like
you'll
when-
notice that like the strikes, when the strike hits, it hits. It's
The
not.
strikes have been working brilliantly. I think the strikes look great.
Yeah, like we only have one right now, and
Yeah, well, but
Yeah.
still.
I mean
It's
it does
fine.
have there's a
So what-
minor animation bug with it that we've been working on, but like you never see where the guy sells a strike too early like the grappling does, and I think we really need to migrate the grappling to basically initiate like the way the strikes are in a collision-based system as opposed to a distance check.
But what you're saying though right now, Alex, if you were to actually, make a quote for like a Pro Wrestling X review, you could accurately say that in Pro Wrestling X, 100% of the strikes are working.
Yeah.
Yeah, just never mind about the Jedi brainbuster that levitates in the middle of the ring out of nowhere and then drops him on his head.
Oh god, my favorite is the Brainbuster with no attacker. That's fun. When you're a defender just in the middle of the ring and decides to Brainbuster himself. I love when that happens, man. Thankfully, unthankfully, I haven't been able to actually recreate that bug. But it's always fun when that happens. Yay. But yeah, the grapple initiate is just to his credit though, Gakido here, he told us when we were adamant that we had to ship early access on a certain date for a variety of wonderful reasons. He said, he's like, look, the grapple is going to work, but it's not going to work with the system we want to have in the final version of the game to get all the different grappling situations working properly, like in a turnbuckle from behind, apron, ringside, all that fun stuff. He's like, I'm going to have to rewrite the grapple initiate collision system, and to that extent, he was right. He does have to rewrite it. He is rewriting it, and so far, reports are that it's coming along well. I mean, he did ship an internal update to us, to the crew, with new moves and everything happening, which was great. That's what we wanted to give people. But we didn't make this build public yet because, again, the Grapple Initiate was just all sorts of janky, and why ship that? As much as this game is early access and we could win an award for how honest our warning video was on the early access Steam page about, how early the game is in development and what exactly is and isn't working. I mean, I don't want to ship updates where we break stuff, I'd rather, as painful as it is, wait just a little bit for us to fix stuff and make it better, rather than add a half a dozen things and break one. I'd rather add a half a dozen things and break nothing.
Yep.
That's my speech. Somebody else make one now. Any questions? Come on. There's got to be some questions.
I'm having fun with the chat, folks.
Are you?
Yeah, he the guy who made the Brainbuster engine comment, PC Vance here in the chat, is kind of on, like, and I told him, I was like, dude, it's all good, and he said he's just kind of like, he's behind us, he's just kind of giving us crap, and it's totally cool. But like I said, we guys, I mean, to be straight, I mean, we own this. Like I said, this is, I mean, people who haven't been following us, I mean, this was literally our boy Dave here. He was one of you guys. He was a forum troll. He sat there in the.
You just called everybody a forum troll.
I'm gonna date Dave. He went back to the GameFAQ boards of WrestleMania. Was it 18?
18 X8, man.
And somebody told him, it's like, hey, if you're, he was complaining about something, Lord only knows what, but it's somebody dared him. He quit his job and started a video game development company on a dare. And none of us knew what the hell, know what the hell we're doing. So we're all making mistakes, and
that's a counter troll in my books.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, shit, we're and so this stuff is hard, gang. This stuff is hard. I mean, it's and there's a lot of mistakes to be made, and there's a lot of people that will come at you saying, with your best interest at heart, and you trust them, and then they break the trust, but it's all good. So
it's ironic that you mentioned this while we do our first Twitch broadcast, because Twitch is exactly what I do whenever I think back to those early days and how hard could this be mentality, God, you're pretty damn hard, man.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah.
I mean, there's usually pretty big teams, like the teams
that's what's scary.
that are like 4 or 5 people. They make games that are like, pixel games, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, and what's scary too is you think back to some of the games that sucked, that had millions of dollars, great sized teams with experience, like, I think one of my favorite, best examples is WrestleMania 21 for the original Xbox. There's a game that had, like, really good budget. It had, at least on paper, good experience because it had the designer from the Mortal Kombat series and a team that had at least done hand-to-hand combat fighting, right? They should have been able to pull off a good wrestling game. But even then, I mean, if you remember that game, it had some game-breaking, game balance issues with spamming certain attacks and whatnot. Things that just wouldn't happen if the developers were actual wrestling fans and wrestling gamers, So when you read some of the negative comments about Pro Wrestling X, and well, really any game development in general, I always cringe now when someone mentions something like, I know so and so is an indie game developer and he could make 3 games in like 3 years. Why aren't you guys doing that? I think people just to to their credit, I don't blame anybody for not knowing what it's like to make a wrestling game if you've never made one. But man, for the love of God, trust me and every other wrestling game developer out there. There is virtually nothing that compares to making a wrestling video game in terms of the experience and techniques you need to know. You can be the world's greatest, World War II first-person shooter developer. You're not really going to have much of a head start if you decide to make a wrestling game.
Hey, that clickety clack you're hearing in the background, that would be one Mike, our Gekido, our lead programmer. Mike, stop typing so loud.
Sorry.
Welcome,
I got like
Mike,
monster,
welcome Mike to the call here.
Keyword.
Hey, Mike Gekido, how's it going, buddy?
Good.
Awesome, man. Everybody who's in the chat room right now, Gekido's Lair is our lead developer, Mike here. We'll have to get some account names and stuff like that straightened out so people know who we're talking to.
It's all good. We'll get it. It's night number one. It's we'll get it all. No Meat Sim. This is not Jam City. We're hungry. Yeah, we don't know who those trolls are. But trust us, we would. Listen. You'll see Gekido pop up in the Steam forums now and again. I stay out of them. It's all good.
I think Eric is actually like physically adverse.
I have the world's dumbest Steam name, so I stay out of the forums until I can think of something much cooler.
Where else won't you go? You won't step foot in a Reddit forum either, will you?
Oh God, that's hard. They hate us, and that's fine. I can respect that. It's a hate respect, but it's cool.
That's too funny.
It's cool. It's all good. But they said, so we got the whole crew here at first time.
Reddit's like one step up from 4chan, so I don't know.
Well, see the thing about Reddit though is it can be used for good. It's just that the Reddit squared circle, they hate us.
Gene pointed at you though, and it's just like.
It's true. Well, and like I said, certain subreddits are better than others. It's squared circle that they hate our guts, and that's totally cool. It's I respect them enough to we just gotta prove it. Finally prove it. Then that shuts everybody up. Is shipping the damn game already. So it's all good.
So just a quick recap for everybody here who's in here on the our first Twitch stream here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for not having very high expectations of what we're going to do here. We're just learning how to use Twitch to broadcast and how to set it all up between all of us crew members, because the Pro Wrestling X crew is comprised of people strewn across the North American continent in 3 different time zones. Continent, yeah. It's my Canadian. It's my Canadian accent. Okay?
See what we have to deal with, people.
But so what we're trying to learn how to do here, people, is we're trying to learn how to use Twitch so that we can actually broadcast when the crew gets together and works together online. We strive to get together regularly where we're all actually sitting down in front of our computer at the same time working on Pro Wrestling X so that we can communicate better. So now what we want to do is include all of you guys, our lovely, loyal, if maybe sometimes angry customers, so you guys can actually get in on the communication to some extent, and we can actually communicate back to you way much more efficiently than we've been doing over the years with the weekly newsletters and that. The actual end goal here is to hopefully use Twitch to do a good back and forth communication with you guys very regularly, hopefully weekly, so that you guys can sit here, pose questions to us, and we can answer them immediately and show you what we're working on. It's one thing to tell you what great new wonderful feature Gekido has working. It's another thing for him to actually share his screen with you guys on Twitch and show you. For one thing, it proves I'm not a liar. And for 2, why not?
Shows the game isn't dead. I mean, what's the thing? It's easily to show that we're still alive. We're still kicking. Yeah. We're fighting it. our brother in arms, our programmer Gikito is busting his ass, and he's a globetrotter. His day job sends him all over the place, and
Yeah, exactly. And before anybody wants to say anything negative whatsoever about the speed of programming on Pro Wrestling X, people need to know that Mike Gikito is the only programmer working on Pro Wrestling X. Even some of the indie wrestling games you see out there, trust me, there's not just one guy programming them. They have a few people helping. And for Mike, for Gikito, to have this entire programming responsibility on his shoulders, everywhere from coding where to put the buttons in the menu to all of the high level eventual networked multiplayer and mods.
Are you promising multiplayer now? Is this exactly what you just did?
No, but
Christ.
Mike has to think about it. But Mike has to think about this kind of stuff as he's coding. We might not have network multiplayer in the game for years, if ever. But when you're the only programmer on the game, you have to take that into consideration when you're building collision systems and everything else, right? Even when he's organizing the freaking directory structure for content, so that modders aren't pulling their hair out in the future. We've got one guy who's got the weight of all that on his shoulders, and Mike, you've got a family, you've got a couple of kids, you've got an hour commute to your day job every day, and you've got half the time your day job sends you out of the country to go work somewhere else for a couple of weeks, right? So you're not exactly one of those lucky, cocky little programmers who's living in his parents' basement, not paying rent, and you get to freaking watch your Firefly backlog while you program a game for 12 hours, right? It's just, that ain't the reality of your situation, is it?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Day job and life and kids and everything else. Yeah, that's the reality of it, but whatever. It is what it is.
Sorry, we got him here tonight. He can work. He can get your ass out of that chat and work on the game.
Yeah, I'm streaming on my own channel.
Which one's yours?
We got PWX on 2 channels here. Oh, deleted link.
Oh,
you're not allowed to post links.
I busted the links. I didn't.
Oh,
when I was just setting it up. It's not the dev account, is it?
No, you just click on my name and go to my channel.
Okay. Hang on, I'll see if I can post it. I'll see if I as an admin I can.
I'm trying to, but yeah. When did you decide to shave your head bald anyway, Mike? I mean, I know it was a while ago, but why?
What? Who? Where?
Why? Why did you shave your head bald, man? You were rocking the rocker look.
Well, it kind of got a little fluffy. No, actually, when I shaved my dreads, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that was a long time ago. Yeah, no, that was just too heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, then yeah, my wife was much happier when I shaved my dreads off.
My wife hated it when I shaved my head. Which I don't get because I only had 2 hairs on my head, but
yeah. Actually, Mike, I'm looking at your channel right now because I'm dying to see how this stuff is done. I was getting behind the scenes, and I tried to figure it out for the most part, but I couldn't figure out why he was getting stuck at that weak attempt loop or whatever it was. He just kept looping. You throw the grapple and he's stuck, and he was stuck at that.
Yeah, no, it's because basically the way that the grapple attempt works in the current public build is the attacker initiates it, and then the attacker code sort of sends an event to the defender to say, hey, initiate grapple, which is why they don't actually sync up properly. What I'm in the process of doing is actually migrating it over to the same kind of system that it's the exact same system the strike system works. Which
is that actually detecting a collision, or is it like you're entering like a trigger space?
No, the characters have collision boxes, or they have a very detailed rig that has so they've got arms, mitts, head, actually collision on their heads and stuff, and so when your hand, the attacker hand actually hits the defender, that fires an event.
Oh,
there's actually
okay. So
there's
you're
a
not
little
actually okay. I got you.
so there's a little script actually attached to the character's hand that basically just purely does the event firing. So it fires the collision event.
Gotcha. Because before you were doing a distance check, right? You were trying to say if he was within so many units or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, it does do that. Like, it kind of says, "Are you close enough to even attempt to initiate?"
Okay,
that's
okay,
sort of what it does right now. But the new logic will be the hand collision actually has to connect with the defender, and that collision event will effectively fire or tell the
Gotcha.
defender that, hey, I'm being grappled, and then he can initiate and sort of trigger it properly. So it's kind of a very different approach, but it's the right way to go, basically.
Well, and we've talked about this before, and this is something that we wanted to kind of talk about with you guys is that, and we've kind of been upfront about this that making these type of games, it's not like you can just kind of download a quick RPG package or a first person shooter package. Is that a lot of this stuff is we're trying to kind of invent a combat system that is pretty specialized, and so we're gonna make decisions about some things, and then as we get into it, realize that it's not going to work, and it's hard to kind of nail it the first time out.
Yeah, like I've done a ton of stuff with Mechanim and Unity. Like I've been using programming Unity for years, but doing this kind of detailed, complex inter-character sort of animation is always tricky. Like you look at like games like Assassin's Creed and stuff, even they don't get it right all the time, and they've got some more programmers than me. In years and hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's definitely it's not something that I'm gonna get right the first time. It's
Well, like I said, just finding
Again,
lots of
I
time
think-
to give it good throws. I mean, that can be hard for all of us because they said everybody except for Dave, we all have 40-hour-a-week jobs and all that kind of stuff. And
and the big thing with game development is it's all iteration. You get something in, you start working on it, you try it out. Did that work? Does it feel right? No. Okay, you iterate on it, and some things will require that you go back to the drawing board. So
and God forbid you find that one bug that you can spend 3 hours just trying to fix one stupid little thing.
So there's something weird with this throw stuff.
I don't know if people are noticing. We got a few questions popping up in the room here. I just want to take a minute to answer a few of these questions real quick. But people want to know how many hours do we each spend working on Pro Wrestling X a week, and that's an impossible question to answer. I know it can be anywhere from a couple hours, depending on how the week has been, to it's definitely not unheard of for any one of us to put in 60, 80 hours when crunch time is coming, right? It just comes and goes. I mean, that's the nature of doing this project.
Before early access, we were definitely cranking a huge amount of hours, and then
some people were in between day jobs, which makes things easier to get more work done on Pro Wrestling X for sure, right? But now I'm not making excuses, but we're not the kids sitting in our parents' basement and we can work 14-hour days and have our meals brought to us. It's just not the situation, right? Everybody's got day jobs to handle and mortgages to pay before we can sit down and have fun working on a wrestling game. Right?
Yeah, but everybody's got different tasks too. I mean, that's the thing is we all kind of have our Alex, what the hell are you doing to that guy's nipple? And
I'm on the nipple stage right now.
Sorry. Anyway, you got me all flustered. Basically,
Nipples!
I think
we all have
Unsafe for
different
stream.
roles. I do a lot of you'll see me if you follow on Twitter at Pro Wrestling X. I do all the live tweeting at Raw, which is sometimes impossible to get through, but the WrestleMania and the Raw after was a lot of fun. I also handle posting. I get the newsletter out to the group. A lot of you guys have heard from me about I get the serial numbers out to you guys. I run a couple of the websites that kind of power some of our stuff. And
Yeah,
so
just
so I
people
so it's
know.
Gonna do those
so it
later.
varies, you know.
Yeah, just so people know, because we've been doing this so long, even
It's
we're
too
not clear
weird.
about it. But the newsletters that have been going out every week. It used to be that I would write every single one of those, but lately, we got some health issues in the family, and I haven't been able to get to it like I used to. So I need to thank Eric here publicly while we've got everybody listening on Twitch. Eric has been helping out, taking over, not only sending the newsletter out an email, but he's actually been hopping on to write one every now and then for me, and he's doing an awesome job. So clapping,
Rock
thank
and
you, Eric.
roll, thank you.
Golf
Well,
clap.
dude, I mean, listen, we're at what, 680
I know.
number, and so I've maybe done like 7 or 8. so yeah, go team, but it's all good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Eric is generally, the face of the project on social media like Twitter and that.
Not Facebook. That is all
Not
Dave. That is all
Yeah.
Dave's interesting interpretations of what you try to do.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I get Facebook and LinkedIn. There's my responsibility. So that's
We
working
gave
out.
Dave the real
Spam
important
butterfingers.
social
Yeah.
network with LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What else have we been working on in the interim? We've got book 2 of the History of Pro Wrestling next, the newsletter anthology. That's we're coming down the pipeline too. But again, there you want to talk about a tedious task. That's what Erica's doing right now, is pretty much spell and grammar checking a few hundred newsletters.
It's actually coming right along. I'm down to like the last 14 or so, and then it's just a matter of kind of programming into the ebook, and then we can get that one up and running.
Yeah, exactly. But not only that too. So people know. I mean, Eric is actually has the very, very thankless task of running the customer database. So every person who's ever given us money, be it Kickstarter or pre-ordering or playing for Uprising back in the day, or the
Or
box set from back in the
2005
day.
T-shirt sales.
Yeah, T-shirt sales. Eric manages that database and does stuff like changing the mailing addresses and getting out codes and whatnot to people, checking to see if people have their code. That is a big, ugly job. That is pretty much a full-time job for somebody at this point in Pro Wrestling X, and he rocks that. Leaving most of the fun stuff to everybody else. I mean, speaking of fun stuff. Alex Cola, he's our lead and only 3D artist guy. So pretty much anything you see in the game for art and animation is the responsibility of that one dude. And I have to say, golf clap again. It's pretty damn good.
Well, and again, not to bury earlier artists that have been on our project, previous, but you guys, anybody who's been following the project,
Those
for
artists are listening right
6 or
now
7
too,
years.
by the way.
What's
Hi,
that?
Daryl. I said some of those artists are listening right now. Hi,
Well,
Daryl.
hey, it's all good, and that's what I said. I'm not burying anybody, but anybody who's been following, you guys have seen.
Except for Tim, he was an asshole.
Yeah. Is that guy in the channel?
Yeah, he
No,
might be.
he's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, he follows us on Facebook and whatnot.
It's all good, but I said you guys have seen the dramatic difference between Uprising and the early access stuff, and that is attributed
So, say, I
100%
don't
to
think-
Alex.
Mike, I don't think you've worked with any other artists on this than other than
No,
myself.
So the funny history is that Dave's whole quitting his day job and starting a game thing, I was the first person he called
I remember that. I said, "You got roots, baby."
a million years ago. So even though I'm
Oh,
new
yeah.
on the,
Well, you guys all
Yeah.
got miles on me then, as far
yeah.
as this thing goes.
Mike
I've
and his
got a few
partner-
gray hairs from this thing.
Mike, time you were working with your partner at the time, Mark was your partner working with that company, right? So Mike gets credit. Speaking of the history of Pro Wrestling X and making me physically twitch and vomit when I relive certain freaking eras of Pro Wrestling X, Mike gets credit, I think, for early on uttering a few famous words to me, which were something along the lines of, "Hey Dave, had you tried getting money from something called Telefilm?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and that set us on a long, exciting adventure dealing with federal loans. federal loan programs from the Canadian government. Now, I don't want to bury anybody either. We couldn't have gotten off the ground. We couldn't have even built Uprising or anything if it hadn't been for the funding we got through the Film Canada program. But man, let me tell you, it was a government-sponsored program, which meant bureaucracy, which meant paperwork.
Yeah.
An ungodly amount of bureaucracy and different levels of passing the buck and
You
responsibilities.
didn't realize how much fun audits were.
Oh, my favorite part, one of my favorite, I say using air quotes, is at the end of the project, we had spent over $250,000, which sounds like a lot of money because it is. But in game development, you can flush $250,000 down the toilet in a week at most game studios in Vancouver, right? But at the end of the project, we had to audit it and get our books checked by an accountant, and that was painful. I think it took almost 3 months. I think it was something just stupid, and at the end of the day, I can't remember now. It cost between $10,000 and $15,000 to do the audit. It was just one of the stipulations of getting the funding, this loan.
Dave should have gone into accounting.
Oh God, had to do exactly. Had to do
But they
this.
also
audit.
they wouldn't let you. They don't let you put the expense for the audit into the budget that you get from them. So you have to spend $15,000 to do it, but they won't actually let you put that into your accounting numbers.
Yeah,
No.
You have to pay for that out of your own pocket after the project is finished. So you have to find 10 to 15 grand lying on the floor to get her done. So that was a whole lot of fun. Then, of course, at the end of the day, the audit, found nothing wrong. There was no shady business or whatever going on, which I thought was kind of funny. When you talk about trolls and the truthers out there with Pro Wrestling X, the line is always about how Pro Wrestling X, they're a bunch of scammers and thieves and they steal. And you look back and you think, my God, I freaking borrowed hundreds of thousands of dollars from the government and had to pay for my own audit. If I am a thief and a scammer, I am the worst one in the history of the freaking universe, man. Because
Or the best one.
yeah.
If we're scammer, where's my island? Yes. If I have to scrape together, all this
Did you
stuff.
see that Onion article about the melting ice caps is unveiling all the evil layers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too funny. But it's funny. But the German one with the UFOs, that's real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They haven't found mine yet.
Bat boy.
I gotta find that one. Well, man, if we get off topic, what? Have we got more questions? Hey, Mike, you've got your own personal Twitch stream is showing you working on the game in Unity, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, can we do any kind of test where we can switch over to
Better
Mike
or worse?
Well, here's what we got to do. Alex is running the show with all this stuff, and what he would have to do is Mike could share his desktop in the Skype channel, and then Alex could use that as a video source.
Do you guys want to test that? I know Mike, just before anybody gets all worked up and excited, Mike's just working on some pretty boring code stuff. You're not going to see anything too exciting.
I was just going to say, if he wanted to we could just minimize his not minimize, but just put a smaller window down in the corner just to show that everybody's working on stuff.
That would be cool. I mean,
But
that's
the other thing is I want to make sure that Alex's bandwidth and stuff doesn't get annihilated, but. And because Mike would have to stop streaming to open up his bandwidth too.
Oh, really?
No, I got the bandit.
I just want to test this because in the future we want to.
I'm sharing.
Yeah. Okay, so you're sharing. So if I go back to the Pro Wrestling X Twitch stream, I see Eric's face down in the corner.
Yeah. So what Alex would do is Alex would need to add our Skype channel as a video source.
Right.
And then kind of crop out our usernames and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Well, so it's a public channel. We want to make sure that our
you can, to be perfectly honest, anyone could search our names
Sure.
Skype. But sure, let's give it a go. So, oh, I see.
Someone's asking, speaking of Fire Pro, are we going to borrow the critical system from Fire Pro?
You know, they have some cool crit stuff going on in there.
Fire Pro does some cool stuff, but if you're referring to the critical system, like I'm going to just take a guess here and assume you're talking about the
I'll be back in a bit.
the
I
always.
gotta do something.
If you're referring to the always random, slightly remote possibility that you can pull off a strong finishing move or something to end the match, I want to say yes, that we are going to have that sort of mechanic available. We've already been talking about it, and how we actually access our different tiers of moves between weak, strong, and special and whatnot. So we are going to have something kind of like that, but we haven't introduced it yet in terms of finishing moves and whatnot. For the basically main reason so far is that our game sucks right now, and we're trying to actually fix the core grappling system before we get into anything fancy like what we plan to do for finishing moves and a really cool critical system. I will say this though, man, if we can get working what we've been talking about getting working, what Mike has already done some technical tests on, like Eric and Alex, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Those YouTube videos that Mike posted about different things we need to do. If we get that actually working and integrated, it will be, for a while anyway, one of the coolest new features ever seen in a wrestling game.
Well, that's the thing is we have to keep a lot of the stuff close to the vest, just because it's like I said, these are, people are listening, and we don't want it to show up, end up anywhere else. But
so that's all I can say. I hate being vague and stupid like this, but I mean, I want people to know that we've got stuff that we're excited about. Just sorry we can't really share it or show you yet because it's far away from working. And being in the game, but once
and it's in order of priority too. Is like I said, there's all this wonderful stuff that we want to get to down the road. But kind of one of the things that I'm going to be working on here in the next week or so is posting a public Trello board so that you guys can see exactly what we're working on and then kind of the order in which we're doing it.
Tell all the normal people what a Trello board is.
Trello board is, for those who don't know, is basically just like it's a giant checklist. It's essentially what it boils down to. But a lot of companies are using it to show off roadmaps and things of that nature. And I think it's a good way to kind of demonstrate to you guys exactly what's being worked on at any one time. So there's no questions about, hey, what's going to be in the next build? What are they working on next? And you'll be able to see what our priorities are. I mean, we're trying to focus really hard on getting gameplay. There's a lot of really fun whiz bang and a lot of graphics and crowds and audio and all these wonderful things that are really, really cool. But we got to make sure that, like I said, just getting grappling working 100% so that we're not building on a foundation of total crap.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, and on that topic too, you remember there's I know I've done work sort of like producing content for some of the ideas we've had, like just pure R&D stuff.
I would love to put the Green Bastard in the game. PT Vance. Who here knows what the Green Bastard is?
I was going to say that one blew right by me. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I know that reference.
Oh,
Trailer Park Boys.
He's
Trailer
not
Park Boys.
Canadian.
They had a wrestling character. Yeah, he's not Canadian. Yeah. There's you heard of Trailer Park Boys, Eric?
I have heard of it.
It's
You got Netflix?
Yeah, if you got Netflix, you got it, man. It looks like a very, very low budget community cable, comedy.
Looks like?
Looks like.
So I don't think there's any illusion.
I
it's kind of.
I think the secret
It was
is
a
that they
Handycam
actually
show,
have-
right?
Yeah.
It's like like how The Office is filmed in Handycam.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a similar idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it's all filmed in a trailer park with a bunch of rednecks, right? And one of them is his secret identity is a wrestler called the Green Bastard. And this is probably about
I
what?
need to add any more to my Netflix queue.
It's one of those
There's
shows
only
where-
9 or 10 seasons.
honestly,
Yeah.
honestly though, Eric, it's one of those shows where within the first 10 minutes you have decided if you're watching all seasons or you're never going to
Well,
watch
that's
them.
that's the problem. I get sucked into all that crap. I got sucked into House of Cards. I got sucked into
Well, if you're like
Orange is the New
us,
Black,
growing up in
Kimmy Schmidt, all those.
Canada, it's like everybody in high school, you're like, okay, that was that guy. That was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I travel to the States, man, and people find out we're from Canada, Trailer Park Boys is one of the first things they bring up. You know, I was at a
awesome.
grocery store in freaking California, you know, and you from Canada? Yeah. Oh, Trailer Park Boys. I'm like, dude, what's funny is that, you know, it's not a comedy, it's a documentary, man. Like,
It totally is.
yeah,
That was pretty much my high school.
How closely will the control system and overall gameplay experience be to the old Nintendo 64 games like WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy? It's if you've played the game yet. In fact, if you've played Uprising, which was a little tech demo kind of thing we released a few years ago, you'll see how closely it is, because that game actually came pretty damn close. It uses the same system that Aki used in terms of setting up the organization of their move system and the power levels. Basically, what we're working off is the overall philosophy of to make a move stronger or weaker depends on how hard or how long you press a button. So if you just tap a button, you know, really quickly and lightly, you'll do like a quick or light move. So if you tap the strike button lightly, you do a weak strike. If you hold down the strike button, you'll do like a heavier strike. Same with the grapple button. If you tap it quickly and lightly, you'll do like a light grapple.
Yeah,
attempt.
but
If you
it's
hold it
not to
down,
be confused with the way the Dicky games do it, where it's literally like an analog thing where you know,
yeah.
if you hold it for 10 seconds as opposed to like 6.5 seconds, then it's slightly stronger.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
more it's like strong versus weak kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that breaks it up too is once you actually do, what was I going to say? One button is generally associated with strikes, and another button is generally associated with grapples, no matter what situation you're in. So if you're standing there and your opponent is either standing in front of you, or he's lying down in front of you, or he's kneeling, or he's in the corner of the turnbuckle, or he's tied up in the ropes, the strike button will always strike. So you don't have to learn, like, you know, which button is a strike to a turnbuckle guy, which button is a strike to a down opponent. Strike button is always strike. Same with the grapple, right? So if you're standing in front of you or lying down in front of you, the grapple button will grab the guy always, right? So if you're standing in front of him, you'll grab him and do a grapple attempt, right? If he's lying down in front of you, you'll grab him and more likely open yourself up to be able to do like a submission move right from there. So in that respect, it's going to really feel comfortable, like No Mercy and the Aki games. Where it kind of goes off the rails, though, is we don't plan to borrow too heavily from their finisher system. If there's anything that can be said badly about Aki games, which you know, forgive me, Father, if I've sinned for saying anything bad about Aki games, but nobody likes the whole running from a special game mechanic that you ended up with in the Aki game. You know, as soon as you saw your guy's special move flashing, what did most cowards do? They'd exit the ring and run around like idiots until the finisher quit flashing, right?
Guilty.
So, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and you always have this honor system too, right? Where before the match started, yeah, we promise no running from specials, right, okay. So there's that.
I say
so
let
we're
him
gonna
run,
try-
man.
Yeah. Well, what we want
Yeah,
to try
team
to do-
coward, man. Team coward. I'm fine with that.
Team coward. Well, you were a mask-wearing wrestler, weren't you? So you did hide your identity.
That is not far from accurate.
So where we do kind of go more into Fire Pro territory than Aki is when it comes to actually pulling off special finishing moves. It's going to be more like the Fire Pro system, where there's a chance you can do it from almost anywhere at any time. So yeah. I hope that
Well,
answers
here's
your
a quick, not to interrupt, but I want to ask the chat. I want to know who is currently playing or has played our game, and then how long you've been following the project. Do a little informal. We want to figure out who's in the room here. If you guys are actually people that have played the game, or if you're just curious, or if you're supporters, and then how long you've been hanging with us. I'm kind of very curious to see those comments. So fire them right in the chat.
I have to think that a lot of people have been with us so long, just because it's almost like a tragic comedy at this point for some people.
Well, I was reading your old newsletters there, Dave, and when you're talking about how like your child was like 2 or 3 years old. Okay, so PC Vance
Is what,
goes way back.
graduating high school now?
Yeah. Damn near. High school starts next year, man. Ugh. That's okay. My daughter's doing all right. She likes Doctor Who, so I'm okay.
You've done something right.
I'm raising her right, and she asked me for Pantera on her phone. So
For real.
There you go.
well, it's kind of weird because it's like that and more Katy Perry, please. So I don't know exactly what's.
You can't do. Oh yeah, it's kind of you take the victories where you get them.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right, so getting some good answers here, eh?
Yep, I said this is it's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I said, it's fun. So same with us. PC Vance. Let's see. I've been with the project 11 years, 12 years?
Wow.
Because I quit my job in 2002 and went out on my own, and I think I joined up in like 2005, 2004 maybe. It's whenever you did the T-shirt contest.
Oh Jesus!
That's when I joined. I think
The white T-shirt.
the white T-shirt.
The you know what a shining wizard looks like. T-shirt.
I think that's because I remember hearing about the project on DDT Digest, and then it wasn't that much far after that you ran the T-shirt contest, because I kind of said, hey, I wanted to add, but I've been talking to you with you before that a little bit.
Right. Oh, that's funny. Yes, you've been at it for a while. A lot of people are fairly new. Hey, there's one person here, Menuro. I'm saying that right. Following the project for about 6 months. Going to be buying it on Steam this weekend. Now, here's where we have an ethical fork in the road here, guys. Mr. Menuro has not cost $10. At this point in the project, knowing what you know about us, our history, and our work ethic, and whether or not we keep our promises, would you, as a friend, let Menuro drop $10 on Pro Wrestling X right now, or would you advise him to wait for a few more updates?
Oh, I definitely tell him to buy it now.
Spend $10 on coffee.
I was gonna say I'm not unbiased.
Yeah, really. $10 on coffee.
Or lunch, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I
You
if
should
I'm
see
to
my
be
Steam
perfectly
collection,
honest,
though. Yeah, I've got a fairly healthy Steam collection of stuff that I haven't played.
Of course, you can be honest, Alex. Be honest.
I love there's a game called Overgrowth, and I've been following it
Oh, yeah.
for years, and I never miss a dev diary, and they're selling it for $10, and I still haven't picked it up.
It's still just the bunny and like train somehow. Like for 10
Yeah,
years,
there's
it's
fighting,
like
there's combat, I don't know.
Oh.
I know what you
I don't
mean.
know.
Like
It
if you look
doesn't
at
seem like it's changed much though.
no, they're very subtle changes. But
Oh yeah, I
like,
know. And like you
to
had
your
that
point,
whole
I haven't
procedural
picked it
application
up yet.
stuff. And,
Well, and
I'm
people
kind of a
know
slow
that
adopter.
anybody who's been following the project for a
So,
while, like PC Vance, is like, we have tried to do our best to like honor anybody who ever gives us money, like with everything under the sun. We try really, really hard, because we said that's the only. I mean, how many people on the channel? I mean, who would stick with the game project for 13 years, like working on it, if you didn't have like that sense of obligation that like we owe the people that have ever given us any money and lent us the awesome support letters over the years. And you guys said you guys have no idea how much that means to us and how it keeps us going. Just knowing that there's people out there that are like, okay, we got your back, and they've helped us out, and they've done so many nice things for us that I'm gonna keep running through walls,
I just want
Exactly.
to clarify that, like you guys, A lot of the time, you guys throw out 10 years, 12 years. Like, I've only been here, like, maybe 2 or something.
Seems like
And,
nothing.
and the project, and when I did, the project was completely rebooted. Like, it was
Oh yeah.
where there's nothing, like, it was from the ground up. There was nothing
Yep.
we took over. It's literally,
Yeah, and that's only been like 6 months or whatever.
yeah, like, it's literally been.
It may
since
or may not be like
Kickstarters.
reboot number 6, but it's still.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, you figure stuff out. You figure out. It's all learning.
that's just it. It's especially if, like I said, none of us had really done this before. Dave had never run a game studio or had any clue about game development, and so you have to learn it along the way. And I'm in the same boat where, I'm trying to learn this stuff just so I can maybe help out with some minor stuff along the way. But my God, this universe goes so deep, and to just try to like, hey, I'm just going to go all of a sudden learn how to make a video game. It just and the tools are wonderful, so much so more than they've ever been even in the last 5 years. But still, the learning curve is so steep on this stuff. It's astounding to me.
I would be inclined to agree with you.
So you have to just start somewhere, just jump in and know you're going to take your lumps and try to hire people smarter than you and for certain areas and just try to keep at it.
Well, that actually reminds me of a funny, not funny, haha, but funny, strange comment. Somebody made over, I think it was the Steam forums. We released the game early access back in November, right? It's been a few months now. And somebody actually made the comment along the lines of, they haven't, because it's taken this long, and they've only released 2 updates, they should just quit. And I'm thinking, if anything in your life is worth doing, why would you quit because something isn't happening quite as fast as you'd like it to? I mean, it just makes absolutely no sense to me that someone would actually put that kind of barrier and limitation on achieving a goal for themselves. They're like, well, it didn't happen fast enough, and now people are maybe starting to make fun of me in online forums. I should probably just quit. Like, anyway, that's my rant against quitters.
Daddy never raised me no quitter.
Exactly, man.
Stu Hart wouldn't have let us quit.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
Stu would have put us down in the dungeon until he'd be like, I'm gonna stretch your ass unless you get back in there and animate some more shit.
Whoa,
all right,
easy.
We're in the dungeon.
right.
I got you, Mike. We're in that dungeon now, man. Stu is awesome. I never met Stu, really. I bumped into him once. I was a night janitor at a hotel in Saskatchewan when Stampede Wrestling was doing a tour through there, and this was back in their kind of last gasp kind of heyday when the British Bulldogs were with them and everything, and they were riding pretty high. So they're doing a tour. Stampede Wrestling comes to town, and they're staying at the hotel I'm working in. And I noticed the wrestlers were kind of coming into the front door, hauling their bags in and that. So me being the complete freaking nerd that I am, right, I want to go out and help the wrestlers with their bags into the hotel, right? So at the time, there was this bad guy working for him called Kerry Brown, passed away recently. But Kerry Brown at the time was just like, the ugliest, nastiest, meanest, typical old school territory bad guy, cowboy heel, right? So I go out to the car and I see Kerry Brown. He's lifting the bag out of the car, and I walk up to him like, "Oh, hey man, no worries. Here, let me grab your bag for you and help you into the hotel." So Kerry Brown steps away from the bag, puts his hands up, and says, "Yeah, okay, sure, help yourself," And Stu Hart gets out of the car and he just starts screaming at Kerry. And at this time, Stu, he's kind of old and he's shrunk a bit. He's probably bent over about 2 feet shorter than he was like 5 years earlier. He's an old guy. So here's this old guy, Stu Hart. He's just yelling at the big bastard Kerry Brown. He's going, "Kerry, God damn it, that boy don't work for you. You lift your own goddamn bags, you little lazy prick." And here's Kerry Brown, this big guy. He's like, yes, Stu. Sorry, Stu. It won't happen again, Stu. I'm very sorry, Stu. Please, Stu. Let me just grab my bag, sir, and I'll be out of your way right away. Like, holy shit. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. God, be on Stu Hart's bad side and train on. That must have been brutal.
Question from the thread here: do we want them to stream the game? Or-
I prefer people who didn't stream the game.
Yeah, we've already
I was-
been. That is not a fun. It's not there yet. We're getting close to where it'll be streamable. Like feeling pretty proud of it, but yeah, you can easily kind of get a stream going and then make fun of the game a lot, and that hurts.
Well, it's like
That's
this.
plenty of butt hurt, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
I
this.
don't know.
Right? We released the game on early access, and we were very open and honest up front about what early access was, why we were there in early access, and we were honest about, the limitations and scope of the game at that point, right? And I got no problem with anybody playing the game and talking about it and being honest about how
Well,
small
they-
it was,
they paid
particularly
for
early
it.
access. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, what?
yeah, we're not going to say no, but
No, you
it's
can't.
like-
I prefer you didn't, but of course it's yours. Do what you.
Well, that's what I was trying to clarify too. If he means that he can
Yeah.
rebroadcast this stream
Oh,
somewhere of what we're talking about right now.
oh, really?
And I
Well,
say, by all means, go.
no,
for
I think
that.
he's
That's-
saying the game.
Oh, the game. Okay.
The
well,
plan is to
Yeah,
archive
you
all
can-
these anyways. So
Yeah, we're
Yeah, I
currently,
think- I
we're
think they go
currently
on the
set up.
site,
I got everything configured so that we're automatically archiving our broadcasts. And,
Cool. Well, I
I
guess we're-
taped some of our early ones. I recorded to a hard drive. I don't know if Alex is recording to hard drive right now. He might be.
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So that, yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I
check
guess
that
I
out
didn't
now.
get the question right, but just to clarify, man. I mean, obviously, the game was really small, and just where it really hurts us, it really sucks. And we've had this experience once already with a YouTuber and a reviewer. Is when people pick up Pro Wrestling X and they don't read the early access intro, the warning about what the game is. And they play and review our early access game as though it was a $40 finished AAA wrestling game ready for release in 1.0 prime time. And that's where we justifiably get killed. If anybody's playing Pro Wrestling X and completely missing the fact that it's an early access in development game, good Lord, we get slaughtered. That's no fun. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It sucks. So as far as
Yeah,
like
and that's-
YouTubers, yeah,
When it comes to like updates and things like that, like as much as like you mentioned, trying not to break things, like we may break things.
Mhm.
Like especially after we get over this next hurdle, trying to like we've got this monster release that we've been doing, but it's hopefully things will be going a lot faster with the schedule we've been planning out, and the faster you go, the more likely you are to break things. So it's kind of inevitable, but
Yeah.
people expecting that it's going to be the same as a high-priced commercial whatever team
Yeah,
thing. I don't know. I think that's the only real risk there. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, all we can do is all we can do, and if at every opportunity when we release an update or a build, if we're honest with people about what's working and what isn't working, then we can't be held liable or responsible for people who can't read or comprehend.
Or
you know,
don't
and I-
care and want
or
to use
don't-
it as comedy fodder.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
which I think is more the case with the YouTube
I
guy.
think exactly right. That's
Hey.
that's for entertainment. They know. They just didn't care.
Oh yeah, I've had more than a few games had been run through the ringer like that on YouTube. It's, I don't know. There's always someone who's gonna specifically trash it. I don't know.
Well, Lord knows we've made a few.
Haters gonna hate, man.
Haters gonna hate.
We made a
Anus
few
is
haters.
a anus.
Ah,
Sorry.
hey,
Sorry.
What?
I had
What
to.
was that? I've never heard that one before. Oh my god, dude! It's like 1:15 in the morning. I'm still awake. What the hell am I doing?
you gotta go to bed.
No,
I think we all gotta
I'm
go.
fine for right now. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna go and then I'm gonna wake up again in like 4 hours.
Yeah, no
Not be able to
shit.
sleep,
Ain't
so.
like-
Just-
Yeah, it's going to work tomorrow.
Hey, Alex.
Yo.
Is that what we had this argument or not argument? We had this conversation before. Is this called a singlet? It's not a singlet. Is it?
It's a singlet.
It's a singlet?
Yeah, I think it is.
It is.
I thought the singlet was a strap on one side.
No,
like Andre.
no.
No. That's a Fred
It's still a
Flintstone.
singlet, but I think it's just called a one-strap singlet, isn't it?
Mike is having a nice little laugh at us nerds right
See,
now.
this is the other thing that the folks need to know about us is you have 3 wrestling nerds and then a dev, and listening to him try to comprehend, like explaining to a normal person. Well, I'm going to use normal in air quotes.
Yeah, it's kind of
like
relative.
like
I've been accused of other.
the philosophies behind professional wrestling and all these things that just make sense to us marks. Like trying to explain that to somebody who doesn't follow this business or hasn't been following it forever it's just like, trying to
Yeah.
Got
it's
a
complete,
couple comments saying that it's a butcher.
The butcher? No. That's a butcher?
Oh, that style of outfit or what?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. I think
No.
that's what they're saying.
I've never heard that term before ever.
I've never heard butcher.
One strap is a
one strap
butcher.
is a butcher.
Oh, okay.
All right, Vance.
This
one
is,
strap.
you know what, I'm googling this shit or stuff.
So we're gonna have a new piece of.
Of course,
clothing?
PC Vance is from Britain, right?
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
He would know. Don't Google it. He
Yep,
knows.
there we go. I'm looking right at it. Yeah, I was a little nervous about typing that into a random search, but
So we've got a new piece of wrestling gear, clothing coming to the game. So what do we honestly get to say marketing wise that
Arr. You
that
became
are-
a pirate for a second.
I'm literally actually stuck. I'm not
sorry, PC Vance. I thought you were a
Um,
Brit. I thought you said you were from Britain. Maybe that was
So
something
do, we
different
get,
here.
so do we get to tell everybody then that the amount of clothing in the game will increase by 100% now, 200%? How is it?
the coverage will.
Well,
The coverage.
I was gonna say, at least he's wearing pants now.
Yeah,
yeah. This guy is the
back
most
in the day
clothed
when
one.
I was back in the day, I wonder if Daryl's still listening. Someone was showing me when ZBrush came out what we could do, and he took a wrestler who's wearing long tights down to his ankle, and he took it and he added like a nice big, shall we say, lump all the way down the inside of his thigh down to his knee.
What's that, Dave?
And he's,
What are you
and he's like,
talking
look at the way the lighting just picks this up as we rotate the character. I'm like, oh Jesus.
It's great
Zoom
for
in
that.
A little more.
Sad thing is that would have moved copies in certain markets.
It's gonna come out. We're gonna have mods if we get,
That's what I want to. As soon as we
See,
can.
now
actually
this guy's
leave-
starting. He's getting to be Big Show tights.
Yeah. As soon as we can leave directories open for people to mess with even textures, we're gonna have people going nuts with mods. It's gonna happen. You can't stop it. People took Uprising, which was one of the most user unfriendly freaking games, and they were adding backyard freaking venues with picnic tables and you name it, man. They could mod. You barely give them access to anything, and they were ripping it apart, rebuilding the game. So I'm looking forward to the mod community tearing this bitch apart. They're gonna do some good stuff with it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Hell yeah. I didn't write down any questions.
Yeah, the only
tonight-
trick there is, sort of how we handle the modding, like trying to go through Steam's actual workshop thing, or just purely opening up folders.
That's all going to be figured. That's why we have to try to figure all
Yeah,
that out.
like I think
That's-
phase one is going to be just opening folders, and then the
Yes.
workshop is then we can allow people to share it around and
Yes.
post up their custom whatever
Well,
skins and tattoos and all that kind of cool stuff. So
I was talking to one guy, and this is gonna sound even more bizarre because everybody's tired. But once we get female characters in the game, I'm not kidding. This is true.
Yeah.
Once we get female characters in the game, his thing, quote unquote, is modeling and designing female hairstyles.
Oh, are you outing that guy? Come on, man.
Oh, he's awesome. What he
No,
wants to do-
just-
He does it. He does it for all sorts of other like RPGs and that, and he can't wait to get his hands on the female wrestling model for Pro Wrestling X, and he has promised to bust out dozens, if not hundreds, of female hair models for us to add to the game.
Cool.
that's awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
For
'cause
free, right?
we get that question asked quite a bit if women are going to be in the game, and we're all of us are pretty huge marks for women wrestling. Like no diva, none of this. Although the divas have gotten a lot better in the last few years, But we like the real women wrestlers that are all over the world, and so that's definitely something that's going to be a priority for us, is to make sure that it's not just going to be some bra and panties diva match. It's going to be
Well,
like actual women wrestlers.
that's where we went. That's something we had to fix. Yeah, you're right. We've been asked this question before. And one thing we have to do differently that we did wrong with Uprising was the female wrestler character that we had in that game. There was nothing female or special about her. We just took a male model, a male wrestling 3D model, and stretched it out in the right areas to give her bumps where she needed bumps and a waist where she needed a waist. And she used all of the same animations, even for the walking and idle as the male. So she looked really, and I hope this isn't politically incorrect, but she was really, really butch for a nice lady wrestler. You know what I mean? So,
Well, she's tough. I mean, she was just a no nonsense tough.
yeah. But she walked
Alex
with
is a
that.
riot watching this match.
I know, right? What the hell was he
It
doing?
looks like he had a helmet, like a bowling ball stuck on his head.
But the female wrestler in Uprising looked and moved like a male, like a heavyweight male. The way she was hunched over and everything. So when we add females to the game,
They need
we
custom
want,
animation,
They do. They
really.
do.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
think the
but the
moves
nice
you can get
thing
away
is
with
that-
it, but like the walks and
Yeah.
idles and
Yeah, and taunts and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, well, luckily, since we've rebooted Pro Wrestling X, I kid you not, I think I've stumbled across at least 3 articles on wonderful new techniques for boob physics. So
stumbled.
Dead or alive.
Innocently.
seriously,
Yeah, I was gonna say Dave certainly wasn't googling it.
you don't have to. It's like front page on Gamma Sutra, man. Like it's freaking everywhere.
Well, so that's the thing is, like I said, we're coming at it, and that it's coming at from an era of respect, not exploitation. Like that's the takeaway from that stuff, is that we we respect, and it's not just about these divas with big boobs and all that stuff. It's like we want to make them athletes and
yeah,
have to
tough
be able
as
to mix it up with the
nails, man.
guys. Yep, yeah.
Tough as nails. I want to recreate. I have it on VHS. I couldn't even read it if I wanted to. But it was some fed out of Japan female wrestling match, and it was all of the ropes were removed except for one side of the ring had barbed wire ropes.
Oh, I saw that match.
Oh, and then outside on the floor around the ring were boards wrapped in barbed wire with explosives attached to them.
I'm getting to the point now where it's like I can't even watch any of those hardcore matches anymore. I used to be all about it, but now that I know like what it does to the guys and to the men and women who do all that stuff, and I just like, it's like, you don't have to do that stuff to go over with me. If you're a good worker and all that stuff, you don't have to like barbed wire and all. You don't have to do that anymore. Not for me anyway.
Yeah,
Because I used to be that way. I used to be ECW and all that kind of stuff, and I still like all those matches, but it's like I feel bad now because it's like those guys got killed.
And especially Foley, man, like you were saying, and people notice, poor Mick Foley, he did that comedy tour recently, and people who've seen him, God bless him, he's not moving too quickly. I think he's got
good days and bad, but when I saw him, he was in rough shape, and I think some of that was the Michigan weather too. That he had a bad. Well, I mean, it's just cold, and it's the humidity can get kind of crappy around here, and if you got any kind of joint issues whatsoever, that'll put a hurting on you in a heartbeat. And I think he was feeling it, but
it'd be nice, what I like about building a wrestling game is you can almost take a tiny little shred of pride in the fact that we can give people a healthier outlet for their hardcore wrestling fix if we let them do it in a game. Instead of in real life. I don't want people to be throwing their friends off of their roof through fluorescent tubes in their swimming pool. Like let's give them a video game where they can set up all the blood and carnage they want and get their outlet there.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, y'all. I'm fading fast. If you all want to keep yakking,
I am actually fading too. I've got like literally 2 minutes here, and I got to get my kid to bed, or she's not.
No,
gonna...
so we've broadcast for an hour and a half here tonight. Well, an hour and a half in this stretch, and then we had about an hour in the other one. So I think that's I think 2.5 hours is pretty good for a first time out. But we'll have this stuff. We'll have this stuff archived. We'll have it. and these cats are going to continue to roll on what they got
Sure.
going, and Mike's
Well,
going to
for
have
the
this
last
game
2
done
minutes.
in like no time as soon as we hang up here.
For the last 2 minutes, before you go, Eric, I just want to wrap up real quickly with you on here because I got to fade out and Boogie here too. Just to cover, this initial broadcast here was a test just to see if we could get all the crew together and share our screens appropriately and hopefully answer some questions while we did it. I hope we've done that. So over the next couple of days before we do our next broadcast here, please, everyone who has stopped by the chat room, please feel free to leave your comments either wherever you want to on the Steam forums or Facebook or whatever about our broadcast tonight. I'm sure there's a ton of things you would have rather us do or do differently or do better. Please let us know what they are, what you'd like to see or hear in future broadcasts, and we'll work on getting this done because honestly, I would rather sit and do a nice, healthy live broadcast like this, showing people the gameplay footage and answering questions, than doing a piss poor job of doing it via forum posts and whatnot. I'd much rather do this. This is fun. This is
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. And for those who don't know, it's you can find everything at prowrestlingx.com, and then we're also on like Facebook and Twitter and Steam. I've posted links to all of this stuff in this Twitch channel. You can find the links if you need to, and yeah, always give us the feedback. We need to know how we're doing, and yeah, it was a little rough going when that stream first started up, but I think this last hour and a half has been good. And yeah, I said definitely join us. I said I'd love to. It said Twitch Tuesday feels right to me. That feels like a nice thing to just say. So that's what I titled this video. Was
Well,
Twitch
the big
Tuesday.
question: who's he making?
Yeah, you know what? I totally didn't clue in here yet. For those people who are wondering, should we tell anybody? I mean, why not? We know it's
I don't
coming.
know.
Or they're in here. It's 20 people. It's all good.
This is
Pretty sure it's been announced at some point.
Yeah,
it's
we've already
been
talked.
announced. It's all good. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
someone,
are.
yeah.
You're watching Alex actually model and create the third wrestler who's going into the game here. The one that people unlocked during the Kickstarter when they wanted a new character. This is the guy. I've shown you some pictures and whatnot on Facebook and that of Alex's concept for the wrestler, and this is the bad boy coming together in 3D here, looking mighty damn fine, I must say. You got any comments or anything you want to say about it, Alex, before we sign off on this guy?
I don't know. I just think it'd be cool to document the whole process and see exactly, just everything that goes into it, and the, people can, throw out suggestions along the way if they want as well. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, we've got a request
what I
for a
would like to-
skull on the mask.
What's
It's
that?
not a bad idea.
Request for a skull on the mask. Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
do a couple variations, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's gonna have to have his Halloween version for sure.
Well, yeah,
I was
you,
Christmas
thinking
version.
the Easter Bunny version.
Easter Bunny needed to be in there. Yeah, polka dots, the Randy Rhodes tribute mask. I don't know. Obscure.
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I love his mask. Where you at?
CJW technically Cobra had the hood over his whole head. That's Cobra Commander. Not that I had every freaking GI Joe vehicle and action figure known to man. Certainly that's not the case, and they're certainly not sitting all in my closet right now, taking a shitload of space where clothes are supposed to be. Certainly not that.
Dude,
No.
believe me, the inspiration is there for sure from
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, that's funny.
That
You're doing a great
character.
job on Alex. Alex, you got any ideas for a signature taunt or signature move for this bad boy?
I was thinking like I really
Belly
like
slap.
the awesome bomb for a move, and like this guy is gonna be. I want to really max out the height that we can get out of our rig before breaking stuff. So I'd like this guy to be really tall and have lots of tosses and throws.
Well, and be the power guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So
'cause that's what I always find is so fun with wrestling, as they would say, like Styles makes fights, not like AJ Styles, but like just Styles in general. Talking about how, what happens when extremes, when you have like somebody like a Rey Mysterio versus a Giant, like just the kind of the clever spots they can come up with. And so I'm always fascinated at trying to find like these guys that are like the far edge of the power, the far edge of the speed, and just see what you can do with these kind of characters when you start maxing out some of these basic, wrestling
Yeah.
stats.
And I gotta say too, man, when you talk about power moves and throwing wrestlers, nobody say anything to like tip this off or spoil anything. But we were talking about a certain feature we want to work into the game
Okay.
to come up with different ways to handle power moves and that. Now, can all the crew agree without anybody saying what I'm talking about? How effing awesome it would be to see this kind of stuff happening
Yeah,
with this
we'll
wrestler.
be good. We'll be good.
Oh.
I don't know. There's a couple of things we were
I
talking
know
about, so
nothing.
to be honest, I don't really know which one you're referring to.
Yeah, Mike, we haven't showed you all the fresh hell, all the different ideas.
No.
You just have to build it.
La
That's,
la 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 la.
Yeah. Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen, this is how video game development is done. It works the same way in web development. It's like these people come up with all these goofy ideas, and then somehow at the end of the day, the video game, the developer has to try to figure out how to make the crazy happen, and then it's usually a surprise on them. There's certainly no planning or anything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man.
No way.
It's like a band. We got a band going here more than anything. You know what I mean? It's kinda-
Spinal Tap. That is
Yeah.
Spinal Tap.
Just Spinal Tap, man. For sure. But you know what? I gotta wonder too. We had a pretty healthy chat here, and where did all the truthers and haters go? Nobody turned up tonight to give a shit.
Hey,
Give us all
it's awesome. I said, hey, chat people were cool tonight. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Where all the haters be? Where's the uprising was an inside job people? I'm not seeing those people tonight, man. Oh,
Don't egg them on. We're having.
Don't encourage.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just gonna say this is everything's going nice. We're doing.
Yeah, don't
it.
Stephanie McMahon them. Come on.
I was just gonna say this is just like, cool.
if ever I've been accused of being anyone, Stephanie McMahon is usually low on the list.
We had a question. When were we bringing back Dane?
I was wondering about Dane myself. If anybody remembers, Dane was one of our first wrestlers that we did when we did the reboot after.
Well, Dane has been
Prototype.
an original character all the way back.
Since the prototype, he was I think third character after we did Tirador and Okara. I think. Dane came
Basically,
through,
yeah, because he was the character. Dane was kind of our base character in terms of all the lighting
Yeah.
tests, all the texture tests, when we were kind of messing around with possibly doing toon shading and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I
always
remember that.
Dane that was our base character, kind of based off of AJ.
Well, here's
Yeah.
why he hasn't made a return yet, and why he hasn't come back. When we did this most recent reboot here with Cola, our new and awesome, amazing 3D guy, what we wanted to do was take existing characters, because we didn't want to throw out Tirador or anything, we didn't want to throw out Tirador, but we also knew that he was looking a little long in the tooth, man. He needed an update, right? So because Alex had done some concept work for us, we knew that Alex had some killer, crazy, cool ideas. So we wanted to kind of go forward with this reboot with the rule of take old characters, keep them recognizable, but make them unbelievably new and cool looking too. It's pretty, it's
Yeah.
not an easy set of instructions to follow, right? So that was fun, I think. I shouldn't speak for Alex, but that
No,
made
it's good.
sense. It made sense with masked characters, especially the lucha style in particular, because their costumes are generally more elaborate
Mhm.
and ornate anyway. And we didn't do Dane because Dane was our stereotypical Canadian technical kind of wrestler guy who just, wore a pair of black trunks and some boots. No mask, nothing really identifiable. So there wasn't really a whole lot there to play with creatively for Alex. So I didn't ask him to do Dane. But yeah, Dane is going to return. He has to return. He was the Pro Wrestling X poster boy, especially during the Canadian funding days when we wanted to show as many Maple Leafs as possible in screenshots.
Maple Leafs equal funding.
Yeah, they did.
More buys, more buys.
Yeah. So Dane will return. I guess the answer to that is he'll return when Cola comes up with something good to do with him.
Yeah, I like the idea of bringing back one of the older, the original characters you had designed there.
Yeah, but
There's
I
a
like
lot
the
of cool
idea-
ones he showed me that I thought had cool, like backstories and stuff. So
That's what I like about rebooting the old characters was when there was a cool story that you could continue, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, so you
Yeah,
had
like
like
they
G-Rush, you
evolve a
had
little
Troop,
bit.
you had a lot of different, really good potential characters, even just from
G-Rush-
Uprising.
Troop was a cool character from Uprising. He was actually Daryl.
That was
our
Daryl's.
our previous lead 3D guy. It was the same sort of motivation. We needed another character. I knew Daryl. You know, he's a creative guy, so I just
It's
there's
Daryl.
a rough- Yeah, he's in Vancouver looking for work.
What does he
He's
do?
a cool guy. But he's a 3D art dude, but he's doing more film and television now and a lot of post stuff. But he also at the time was really heavy into the 9/11 truther movement and anti-George Bush and stuff. So he wanted to do a character. He came up with Troop, which is this psychotic ex-U.S. military guy whose brain has been fried by, CIA,
Yeah, because he was kind of like
chemical
he had really pale skin. He was a trippy looking dude.
Yeah, he was like the Joker. He had tufts of hair from left over from when he pulled out his hair with his fists. Like he was
Right. He
messed
was
up.
all PTSD'd up, right? I think.
Yeah.
was
So he had a really cool story before we even had a concept sketch for him. So I think that's when the best wrestler characters start. Is when you have a cool backstory before you even draw a mask. And I think that's where Cola kicked ass on Tyrador, was taking this character from his sort of lucha shoot wrestling kind of background and brought him forward up to date into I could totally see Troop main event in the Mania, or not Troop, Tyrador looks like he could main event Mania now. Man, he looks awesome. So anyway, that's my spiel for a guy who said we should shut it down 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, as I say, I'm fading fast, but this was fun, guys. Thank you so much and guys and girls. I don't know who's who in here, but thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was a blast, and I definitely can see doing this every Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a lot
For
more
sure.
fun and productive what we have. And so yeah, just a little promise to everybody in the chat room is that the next time we do this, I will make it a priority to take better notes of the questions being asked as they go by, because you ask questions, I want to answer them. And also, I hope to have a few different things kind of ready in place to show you guys in terms of if there's any features or bugs that we fixed or something. I'd like to actually have a few different video clips or images ready to go that we can show you, because the whole idea of early access is giving you early access to the development and the process of the game as we go. So that's the idea. Mike, any final comments before we blast off?
Nah.
Can you feel the feel of love? I see what he's working on right now. And I'm having a blast watching this middle screen of watching him try to connect all the dots here. This is fascinating for me. So
Mike is
Yeah,
probably
I'm not
one of
doing
the
much
most-
on that screen because it's all code on the other screen.
Yeah. I think Mike is one of the most, fucking time stretched of all of it. I mean, how old are your boys now, Mike?
4 and 8.
Oh God, 4. Oh, everybody, a moment of silence.
Yeah, the 4-year-old's a thug, so he's
Has
anyways.
he found Daddy's collection of collectible Klingon hand-to-hand combat weapons yet, or no?
No, I think I took most of them to the office.
Right on.
I
Where's
do
the new
have-
office now? I mean, I know with the name. I don't think we can or should say where Mike is working for a day job, but where are they located physically now?
Great Northern Way, kind of between Clark and Maine. So
You're in the same building as Hothead?
no, we're like just down the street, next building. We're in the same building as Blackbird.
I don't know.
Blackbird's working on the new Homeworld
Oh,
Kickstarter game or whatever.
really?
Yeah, it's like a Homeworld RTS, but on land. Yeah.
A lot
Looks
of
phenomenal.
Kickstarter.
So.
Kickstarter. We're lucky we did our Kickstarter when we did, man. They're taking so many lumps now with canceled projects and whatnot. At least we show up regularly to communicate. So many projects are dead. Like, that wrestling coffee table book that we were invited to be interviewed for, Eric?
Yes. Yeah, I know all about it. I just got the Kickstarter message just today, the update.
Yeah, they're getting... they're going through a rough spot,
Well, it happens to everybody. I mean, that's the thing is that's why it's these things are just more work than people realize. And
But what sucks, they are more work, but I still for the vast majority of people who run Kickstarters, I think they are well-intentioned, well-meaning, honest people who honestly think they're going to get the work done for the amount of money they raise, right? But this coffee table wrestling book project in particular, what bugs me is that, the guys running the project, they're just being labeled like scammers and thieves, man, and that's so unfair. People don't realize, man, just because something doesn't work out and things go wrong, it's not automatically a scam. Like, Jesus, man, bad things happen to good people.
Well, hey, I just checked my email. Lot of we got people actually following us here on Twitch now. All these new fans. So this is awesome.
Really?
Really appreciate you guys showing the love, and we're gonna keep doing this because, like I said, I think this is a really good way to show off like how this stuff works and give you.
Tell us what you want to see, right, Eric?
Yeah,
Right, Eric?
tell us what you want to see, and then keep following us at Pro Wrestling X on Twitter, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling X. ProWrestlingX.com. I think we have an Instagram account floating around somewhere too, but
We do. It's hooked up to my cell phone, so whenever anybody wants to see a picture of, I don't know, my bathroom, let me know. I'll fire.
yeah, that's
Food.
It's all good. So I am gonna, it is time to let the Pro Wrestling X crew go to bed now. But yeah, again, on behalf
except for
of
Mike. He has to stay up all night working on the game.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on board Twitch here. Even though it was intended just as a test, I had a lot of fun. Showed you guys a lot of stuff. Got a lot of great questions. Let's do it again in a week's time or so. And thank you again, everyone.
Hopefully, I won't still be debugging grapples.
But
Well, I told them in the chat, like they said they asked us if we had a goal of when the grappling was going to be done. I told them 2017. I just gave them. I said that's the goal. So
we have to laugh it
And I'll
off,
give you
guys.
the programmer estimate, which is multiply that by 2.5.
I was just gonna say, and that's it. That's figuring like not taking into account like double the time.
Yeah. And I don't want to like, piss anybody off by the way we laugh at about how long some things take. We do seriously want to get stuff done. But if we can't laugh off things when they go wrong, we would go insane by now.
And have
That'd
gone
be a
insane.
little
They-
Yeah, we have gone insane. Oh, and
PC Vance, you keep doing what you do, brother. It's all good. You said it's we're all in good spirits and we're all having fun, and there's ways to do, there's ways to troll and being cool about it, and there's so you're doing just fine, brother.
we can handle trolls, man. If anyone, and I do get the odd email from trolls apologizing for being trolls, and they're decided to be nice now. Believe me when I say no need to apologize for being a troll, because you can't possibly, and this is not a dare, you can't possibly be as bad as some of the crap we've had to deal with, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you have trolled us in the past and now just want to play nice and get along, then hop on board. It's all good.
Hop on board the crazy train.
It's all good. So we'll let everybody go. I look forward to following up with y'all. I need a glass of water and good night's sleep. And I'll follow up in the morning with y'all, man. Thanks again for a great, wonderful MFN Twitch test. Let's do it again soon.
Rock and roll, gang. Alex, if you want to hit pause on the broadcast, that way you can recover the video, and we can talk about how to archive all that stuff later. But it said
Perfect.
everything right now should be archiving automatically to Twitch, so
Yeah, cool.
we can share this link out tomorrow.
My
Awesome.
browser is crashing, so I don't even know if I can sign out. So I think I got to do a hard crash here. So
Yeah, it's cool. You can just leave the chat here, and
sounds good. See you later. I love y'all, man. We'll talk soon. Cheers.
see ya.
See ya.
See you,
Love you
Dave.
too, Dave. You tell us he loved us.
I don't know.
So am I just there's stop streaming and stop recording, hey Eric?
Yeah, you can. we can leave the Skype
I'm
open
still
for a little bit longer.
flabbergasted by Dave telling us he loved us.
But, well, Mike, you're working on the game. That equals love. That's
Right,
you know
right.
that's it's
Yeah.
all good.
Okay, peace out everybody.
Hey, later,
Peace.
guys. Thanks a lot. This was a lot of fun. We'll try to do this. We'll shoot for Tuesdays. I think it works.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in the doghouse with my girlfriend, but I told her that okay, I'll hang out with you Tuesday night, but I got to split by 11, so we'll see how long that lasts.
Cool.
Yeah, I just gotta watch my Agents of Shield before. That's all.
Yep. I said, verdict is, I mixed on that one. Half my friends love it, half my friends can't stand it. So.
Well, it's in the build up for the new movie because that's obviously
There we go.
that's sort of the cool part right now. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting people in the chat saying, "Don't forget to save." If we're
Oh, yeah.
after Alex. Just a
Yeah.
quick little Command S will make everybody feel like.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta literally do that right now?
Well, no, I'm just what are you?
I think you mean.
I thought if I stop, it just saves.
No,
No.
he's talking about Maya.
Just close the program out. It's not a big deal.
Save Maya.
All right. Okay, done. Bye.
All right.